So this class we are going to continue that. I hope that you understood all the concept until now. So in the previous class, we discussed like mm, we created okay we created one second, I'll take that program what we discussed earlier. Okay, I couldn't able to find the program which we saw yesterday, but we discussed about how to create a text box, how to create a label box, how to put a button, and then also we discussed about how to handle an event using this button, and also then we discussed how to have a message box. Okay, one second, ma. Okay, ma. So then we discussed about the different message boxes. We discussed in the J option pan, we have so many options to show the dialog boxes. In that, we saw about show message dialog. In that show message dialog, we can able to use show message dialog for warning, for showing error, and note information, all these things, question, all these things we saw, right? So in this class we are going to discuss some other components. So let me refresh some how to use this here. So you might have remember, first thing we have to do is we have to import the necessary packages for this. So to include the swing, we want the Java X package. Under that, we have the this package called sub package called swing, and then we want AW2 package, which is inside the Java package, so which contains so many things. Okay, so we want everything, and again to handle the event, we want the event inside the AWT. So under the AWT, we have another sub package called event. So we have to use that as well. So these three are the important packages we have to include. Okay. So then now let us create the components. So as I said, we are going to have a constructor. So inside this constructor, we are going to define all the components and the design of our window-based application. And to call this constructor, we know whenever I create an object for the class, automatically the constructor will be called. Okay. So first for this class, we create a constructor, and inside the main function, we know the main function is the entry point of any program. So inside the main function, I have created an object. So when an object is created, automatically this constructor will be called, right? Okay, the next thing I'm going to teach you is checkbox, radio button, combo box. Okay, that's what we are going to see now. So first we want a frame. So that is the container for a window-based application. So we are going to create an object for this frame. So JFrame, object name equal to new JFrame. And inside this parenthesis, you can give the title of the window. We can say my swing window or something you can say there. So this will be the title for our window, right? And then the next important thing I said, then we have to set the size of the window using the set size, and here we have to specify the width and the height of this window, right? And then after that, then we have to set the layout. So for that we have a set layout function, and in that we are going to use flow layout. So I told you the different layout in the previous class. There are grid layout, grid bag layout, flow layout, border layout, right? So flow layout means automatically it will arrange the component one after the another depending upon the size of the window. So it will be automatically arranging. So for the layout of the window, I am going to use the flow layout. The next thing is we are going to make the window visible. So we have to say set visible as true. If not, if I doesn't set this line, our window will not be visible. So let me run this program. So if I run this program, you can able to see the window. Okay, so the title is My Swing Window, and then with the width is 600, the height is 500. So the next step we are going to do is we are going to include the checkbox. So to include the checkbox, we have to start it by J check box. Let us create some 3 checkbox. Let me say CB1, CB2, CB3. So that is checkbox. 3 checkbox references I have created. So I told you the reason why I have created outside the constructor. If I created it outside the constructor, I can access this objects anywhere around this class. So that's what I have declared outside. And inside this, we are going to define these 3 checkboxes. So CB1 equal to new J check box. Okay, and inside that you can give the checkbox name. Okay, let's say for example, let's just say the hobbies. So let me put like this: singing. Singing is one of my hobby, and likewise I am going to include the 3 different checkboxes. So CB3, and here we'll give some 3 different options. Okay, so the checkbox is now ready. So I have just created an object for the 3 checkboxes. Okay, what is the next step I have to do? Can you tell me what is the next step we have to do here? What is the next step we have to do here, ma?
Add that to the frame.
Very good, excellent, ma. So I have to add it to the frame. So the frame is created with an object f. So f dot add, we have to add all the 3 components inside this frame. So let me copy it and put it in the same line, not to waste the line. So I have to add CB2 as well as the CB3. So I have separated it with the semicolon. I can do like this also. I can write all this thing like this in the separate line, but it's going to take lot of lines, right? So every statement should be ended with a semicolon. After that, I can write it in the same line. So that doesn't matter, okay? So I'm going to write like this. So just for simplicity. Okay, so just I have added it. So if I run this program, you can see the 3 checkboxes are arranged. Okay, I have 3 checkboxes. I hope so. This is very simple, right? Just create an object of the checkboxes, and inside this you have to just give the naming of it, and you will get the checkbox. Don't forget to add it. Say for example, if I comment it, if I go and run the program, the checkboxes will not be displayed in the window until you add those components inside the frame. You cannot see those components. So this line is very important. Okay, ma? So this we have added. Now, as we saw in the previous class, I'm going to attach, let us create a button. So how to create a button? J button, and I'm going to say B1. And inside that, let us create the button B1 is equal to new J button off. And inside that, let's say display. Any content you can give, any text to be displayed on the button, you can say. Okay, and if I run it, I will not get it. You know that the next thing I have to do is I have to add the button to the frame. So I'm just added the button. So f dot, what is f? F is the frame. So we know that frame is the main container of the window-based application here. So in this frame f, and the object we have created is f dot add, we have added the button. So as I said, I said an analogy for you in the previous class to make you to understand the flow of creation of all this. So for that I said first you have to create a switch, place the switch on the board, switch board. Then you have to do the wiring connected with the functionality. So here as of now, we know the button's main purpose is to do some functionality. So here I have just created the button, added the button to the frame, and what is the next step to be done, and what is the syntax for that? Can someone tell me that? So now we have created a button, Add the button to the frame. And what is the next step to be done to do the event handling? And
B1 dot action listener.
B1 dot, B1 dot.
Add
Action
action.
listener.
Very good. You're also brilliant student. Add action listener. And then yesterday's class, I taught you with anonymous function. Like anonymous function means what? Function without a name. So for that, instead of writing in the lab, I taught you like implementing the action listener here and then writing the function. So to simplify it, and the recent standard way of writing that is like this. So using an anonymous function. So here I'm going to write the interface name, action listener of. Okay, it's an object of action listener, and then we have to write the body. For that, I put a curly brace. Okay, and it's showing an error because action listener is an interface. Every interface has at least one abstract function. So the abstract function of action listener is public void action performed. And the parameter for this is action event. So I explained all these classes in the previous class, right? So now you can see all the error has gone. So this is a simplified way of writing and implementing this action listener interface to handle the event. And so inside this action perform. So this is what going to do the functionality. So this is the part of wiring. So this is connected to this functionality, and here we have to do what to do with it, right? So my objective here is whenever I click some checkboxes, when I click the button, it has to show which are the checkboxes are selected. So that is what my objective. So there are many different ways. I'm going to teach you the simple way to do it. So I'm going to check the condition if, what is the name of the checkbox? CB1 dot is selected. If it is selected, then I'm going to create a string variable. Okay, let's create a normal string variable, say s equal to, just initially I'm going to keep nothing inside. So here, if this checkbox 1 is selected, to this string, I'm going to add cb1 dot get text. So what does get text will do? Get text will get you the text on the checkbox. What is the text on the checkbox? Singing. So if the checkbox 1 is selected, these are all predefined functions, okay? If the checkbox 1 got selected, then I'm going to get the text on the checkbox 1 and I'm going to store it in the variable, string variable yes. Initially, this contained nothing, okay? So along with that, I am going to add plus equal to means we know that this is equal to yes plus cb1 dot get text. This is assignment operators, you know, right? Arithmetic assignment operator. So then that's it. That same way, I'm going to check the remaining things as well. So I want to check the remaining checkbox as well, right? So I have two more checkboxes, checkbox 2 and again checkbox 3. Okay, so if checkbox 1 is selected, the checkbox 1's content is kept concatenated with the string. If checkbox 2 is selected, checkbox 2's text is got and it is concatenated with the string. If checkbox 3 is got selected, because checkbox means we know at a time we can select any number of checkboxes. So that's why we are checking all these things. Okay, ma. So now the next thing is I'm just going to use J option pan. And you know what is the purpose of it? Using which I am going to show a message dialog box and which is going to be displayed on the frame. And here I am going to say, yes, you see automatically it is coming. Before that, I am just going to say, you have selected. And after displaying everything, let's put a small space. Otherwise, everything will come with without a space. So after that, I'm just going to add some space. So it is going to get get the content from the checkbox. Along with that, some little space I'm going to add. You will understand what is the purpose. So whenever I click this button B1, Through this connection, it is connected to this event handler function, which is inside this action listener interface. Inside that, I'm checking every checkboxes. Is it gets selected? If so, I'm going to get the text. Finally, all the content is present inside the string variable s, and that string variable is going to be displayed in using this message dialog. So let's run this program. So here you can see here we have some 3 text boxes. I'm going to check the first 2, okay, singing and playing. And when I click this display button, you can see you have selected singing, playing. Okay, let's do all the 3. So here you can see you have selected singing, playing and reading. Here you can see there is a small space coming, right? How does it come? This is because of this space we have given here. If you don't give this space, everything will be concatenated together. So to have a neat presentation, I have given a space. Okay, so if I have selected the last 2, you can see you have selected playing and reading. So we have connected an event handler to this button that is a clickable event that is handled by the action listener. Under the action listener interface, we have only one abstract function that is called as action perform. Inside this action perform function, we have written what to be done when I click this button. So when I click this button, it has to check whether which are the checkboxes are checked. Accordingly, it has to put some content inside the string variable. Finally, we are displaying the message inside this message box. Are you clear until this? How many of you got this? Yeah, good, Johnson. Thanks, ma. Only 2 of you got
Excuse
understand?
me, ma'am.
Yes, ma.
Ma'am, if we add an action directly to the checkbox
That
rather
also
than
I will
to a
show you.
button, that is also possible?
Yeah, I'll show that as well. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
So, okay, so this is here we have handled this action by this button. Okay, now I'll teach you the another way. I thought I will show you during the radio button. No problem. Here also we can do. What I'm going to do here is okay, now we have attached the action listener with the button. Okay, we now I'm going to teach you, as in the previous class in the PPT I showed you, there are so many listeners are there depending upon the event happening. So whenever there is a clickable event in a button, we will handle it using an action listener interface. Now let us attach the listener with the checkbox. So when I click the checkbox itself, we want something to be happen. So let's say cb1 dot add. Here for a button we use add action listener. For this we have to use add item listener. Okay, so if you want to do something event related to checkbox, radio box, all this thing, you can go for like a check. Okay, it's not it's all coming under the category of item listener. So here we use add action listener. For the checkbox, we have to use add item listener. And here in this place, you can guess it will be like new. Here we said action listener. Here we have to say item listener. Okay, item listener of, as usual, put a curly brace. Inside this curly brace, we have to write the content. So you can say add item listener. This item listener is here. The interface here is item listener. And again, it is showing an error. You know what is the reason? Why it is showing error here? Why it is showing error, ma?
Function is not implemented.
Yes, very good. So item listener is the interface. So we are defining this with like this. So I have to define the abstract function inside it. So the abstract function inside is public void item state changed. And the class is item event. Okay, so now the error is gone. So here you can see for the action listener, the function is action performed, and the class which is going to, the object is of type action event. Here, for the checkbox, it is add item listener, and interface you can easily remember. Okay, item listener. So the listener is item listener. For this item listener, the abstract function is item state change. Always remember, in Java, all the class name will start with capital letter. And all the words, again, all the attached words will start with the capital letter. For the function, the first letter will be the small letter, and after that, whenever we add some new words, every words will be starting with the capital letter. Okay, ma? Okay, so now when I click on this check button, I'm going to say if CB1 dot is selected, then I'm going to do this. I just copy this here and I'm going to put it here. Here I am going to say CB1 dot get text. So whenever I click on this CB1, what is CB1? CB1 is the object of the checkbox. So whenever I do some even with this checkbox, through this wiring, okay, through this connection, it is connected to this even handler. This even handler, what it is doing here inside this even handler, we did all these things. Here we did, if the CB1 is selected, I'm going to display a message box. It shows you have selected CB1.getText. What is the text on CB1? It's singing. Same way we will do for everything. All the remaining two checkboxes, CB2, and also we will do for CB3. So for all the, here again we have to say CB2 and here also CB3, right? So whenever the checkbox 2 is clicked, it is attached with the action listener and connected to the even handler. And if CB2 gets selected, we are displaying the message box and going to display the content on the CB2. Same way for this. Let's run this program and see. So here you can see when I click the checkbox, it says you have selected singing. Okay. It's not clicking. And here when I click the playing, it says you have selected playing. When I click reading, it says you have selected reading. And it's coming like this. Okay, so this is how we can able to do it. But my advice, you can use it for the radio button. Okay, so that time, because any one checkbox radio button will be clicked at that time. So you can use the concept of checkbox to the radio button concept. It will work fine. So I hope that you got it. So whenever I click on this radio button, it is immediately connected with the event and it says you have selected reading. Here you have selected playing. Here you have selected singing. Okay. I hope you got it. Got it, ma? Yes. Can I get some response from others? Yeah, thank you, Prashant, Johnson, and Matthew. Others, ma? Yes, thanks, ma. God bless you all, ma. Okay, very good, ma. Good children. Okay, let's go to the next thing. So now we all know how to do the event handling for checkbox. Now let's create a radio button. So we know that what is the difference between checkbox and a radio button. Checkbox, you can click any number of checkboxes at a time, but in the radio button, in a particular group, you can able to select only one. Say for example, gender. Gender means it can be anyone, male or female. It cannot be both. So we know that in such kind of situation, we should allow to choose any one, right? So in that case, we can go for that. So let's create some J radio button. Radio button. You can easily remember the class names. Let's say R1, R2, R3. Some 3 radio button. Let's create 3 radio buttons. And then here I'm going to create the object. So I'll say R1 equal to new J radio button of, and I have to say what to be selected here. Okay, same way I'm going to say the branches. Any one branch you belongs to, right? So here I'll just say the 3 different objects, and we'll see AI and DS, and also we'll say computer engineering. So 3 different branches I have given. So we will be just selecting any one. Okay. So now you know only these 3 objects are ready. And one small thing you have to remember for radio button is, as I said, for the radio button concept, at a time you can able to select only one. So for that we have to group all these radio buttons. For that we have a class called radio button group, bg equal to new button group. Okay, so this is a predefined class which help you to group the buttons. So now to this button group, I'm going to add those radio button. I'm going to say bg dot add. What are the things I have to add? The radio button 1. So all the 3 buttons, radio button 2 and the radio button 3. So all the 3 radio buttons I have added to this button group. So these 3 radio buttons will be grouped under one and it's going to act like a one group. So now we have just added this radio button only to the group. If you run it, you will not get the output. We know always we have to add this component to the frame. For that we have to say, here we will say f dot add r1. Right, same way we have to add the remaining things as well, the radio button 2 as well as the radio button 3. Okay, so if you run this program, you could able to see the 3 radio buttons. Okay, so you can see at a time you can able to choose any one radio button. Okay, so that is the speciality of using button group. So at a time you can able to choose any one only. You cannot choose more than one. But if you doesn't use this radio group, if I run it, you can see all this thing I can able to select at a time. But we know that radio buttons concept is not like that. In the radio button concept, you can choose only one at a time. So these 2 lines are very important for this radio button. Okay, so if you use this radio button group, then only all these 3 radio button will be grouped under one group, and in that group you can choose any one button at a time. Okay, so now let's do some event handling here. So we will use same thing here. So here I say r1 dot add action listener. If r1 is gets selected, so I'll say r1 dot get text. So here also we'll do that. r1 dot get, and here r2 so here also r3, here again r3, here again r3. I hope that you know what I'm doing now, right? I'm attaching an event handler with the radio buttons. So we know the radio button objects are r1, r2, r3. So for all this r1 is if there's some event occur in this r1 which is of type item listener checking, then it is saying if r1 is get selected, this is what we have to do. So let's run this. So you can see you have selected AIDS. If I click this, it says you have selected computer engineering. If I click this, it says you have selected CSE, right? So you can do like this. So at a time in the radio button, you can able to choose any one at a time, and you have attached the event handler also to this radio button. Do you understand this radio button concept, ma? I hope that you got it. Yes, good, ma. So let's go to the next component. Yes, thank you all, ma. God bless you, ma. Next, we will go to the next component, combo box. Okay, J combo box, and let me say as what name we'll give. CO. We'll say CO1. Okay. So what is this combo box? Combo box, in the sense it's like a drop-down list. You know what is drop-down list is, right? Let's create that. So I'll say CO1 equal to new J combo box. Okay. So since I said this combo box is like a drop down list. Drop down list means inside it you have some of the list of items. So how can we add the list of items? I'm going to add an array, string array. In the string array, I'm going to add some content to it. Let's add some fruits. I'm going to say apple, mango, kiwi. Then what else? Grapes. Okay, something I have did. So this inside the combo box, I have to give the array. Okay, so just create a combo box. Just create an array, string array, or any string array, and just give the elements. Now you have to add it to the frame. So I'm going to add it in this place. F dot add CO1. Okay, so if I run it, you can able to see the drop down list with all the elements. Okay, so we have to do some event handling. For this also you can do this kind of event handling. First I will show you with this, okay, with the button event. And anyway you can we can do it in many different way. Let's do this. I'll just command all this thing. I'll just say string yes equal to CO1 dot get selected item dot to string, and then we'll use this J option, and you will say you have selected this. Say yes. Okay. So what I did here, this combo box is of type string, and the data which I'm going to get is also a string. So I create a string variable. What is CO1? CO1 is an object of this combo box. CO1 dot get selected item. Okay, which item is selected? That is get selected, and it's converted to a string and it's stored in the variable S1. And that S1 is get displayed here using this message box. So let's run this program. So here I'm going to choose kiwi. When I click display, it says you have selected kiwi. Let's select apple. Here you can see now you have selected apple. Mango, and you can say you have selected mango. Okay. So this is one way. Another way is you can even add an item listener to this as well. One second, ma'am. So as we did know, when I clicked the checkbox, you saw that immediately I connected the checkbox with the event. Same way here also you can do connect it with the when I click on the drop down list, that time itself you can merge it with the event handler. So for that, one way I showed you, right? When I click on a button, it is showing which item is selected. Same way we have one more method. I will show that as well. One second. This one I showed. Okay, so it is like So already I have taught you whenever there is an event, an object will be created and that object will be given to the event handler. So here again, whenever, always, whenever, even you click a button or anything, if you click anything, you can have object will be created and it will be passed to this, and this object will have all the information about the event. So here, when I click on this combo box, an object will be created and it will be passed to this. So this E will contain all the information. So from this E, we are going to get it. So I'm going to say if E dot get state change, if the state of that particular combo box is equal to, I'm going to check if it is change is equal to item event selected. Okay, item event dot selector, if it is, which means the event occurred. Okay, so I said whenever you do some event, an object will be created and it will be passed to this or given to this object variable, and from this E I'm checking if the state change is equal to selected one. If the event occurred is of kind selected one, then I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to just get the item inside the combo box, and I'm going to display it in a message box. I hope you got it. Same way how we did the item listener for other checkbox and radio button, you have to do it. And whenever there is some different event occurs in this combo box, I'm connecting it to the item listener. Here you can do like this also, it is simple, but I just want to show you this also. How to do? You have to say this object will be having all the details about the event occurred. So using this object, I am going to say whether the state change is of kind item event dot selected. Is it of set selected? Then I am going to get the content from this, which means the selected item from this combo box, and convert to a string, store it in a variable using a message box. We have just displayed it. So let's do that. So whenever I do say change it, you can immediately say you have selected mango. Same way here itself, before I click this button, here itself you can see the state change. Earlier I did, when I click on the display button, you can see what I have selected. Same thing you can do here also. When I click, when I do some state change, even in the combo box, there itself you can handle the event. Okay. So here I can change anything. So whenever I do some state change inside the drop down list that is set to be a combo box, immediately you can handle the event by this item listener. Okay, are you clear about this? Do you understand this? Okay, thank you, ma'am. Very good children. Okay, I hope that I have taught you these important things. Okay. So all the other things I have taught you, and the setting font, foreground color and all I have taught you in the previous class. Okay, the next important, interesting, one more thing is there. Okay, so I have very less time. I'll show that if when I get time, then I'll type and show you. As of now, I'll show how it is working. So till now in this GUI, what we did is, until now what we did is we designed we kept some of the component inside this window, and then we are doing some event, right? We have, in the previous class, we kept some we kept some label box, text box, button, we did an event. This class we learned how to place a checkbox, radio button, combo box, and to do some event. Same way, we can also attach some, attach drawing. We can even draw something inside this window. For that, once again. Okay, so how to do that I'm going to show. Since there is only 5 minutes, I will show now like this, but I'll explain it. If we get time in some other time, I'll show clearly. Now you consider this is a normal class. Okay, normal class, class name, all these things. Main function is there. As usual, you have to import all the header files. Okay, just swing as well as the AWT. All these drawing components are present inside the AWT only. So J frame is present inside a swing. Okay, so I'm creating a frame first as usual with the title as drawing, and then here I have created a class. What is a class? It's called as draw. I just gave the name as draw. I have extended J panel. If you remember in the previous class, I told you there are three containers. Can someone tell me what are the three containers? I told you about three containers. Let me see if you remember that. I told you about three containers. What are they? One container.
Panel, frame,
One frame. Very good. One is frame. What is the another one?
Panel.
Panel. Very good. What is the other one? That also you know. Just before we used.
dialogue, ma.
Dialog box. Very good. Okay. Very good, children. So three containers, but standalone container is, which means the container which can act only by itself is frame. The other two containers depend on the frame. Above the frame, you can bring it. Okay. One among that is panel. So panel alone cannot stand separately, but this container, panel is also a container only, but you have to place this container inside the frame. Okay. So what we did here is we are creating a class which extends JPanel. Okay, so we know that what is extends. Extends means what? It is an inherent concept. JPanel is a predefined class. It is a container. Extends means what? It is going to extract all the properties of the parent JPanel. So what are the properties or what are the features present in the J panel? Everything this class is going to get. You know the concept of inheritance already, right? Children can get everything from the parent. If my father have a car, the car belongs to me. If my father have a house, it belongs to me. Automatically I will get. Same way, when I extend J panel to this class, what are the features present in the J panel will also come to draws. Okay, so now draw is also a panel because we have extended J panel to this. And then this is all small thing. I have just created a constructor. Inside that I am just setting a background. So this means current class object, which means the draws. For that I am setting a background. I showed you in last class. And then here important thing here is I am creating a special function called paint. And I have said it is public void paint, and inside this I have said it is a graphics. Graphics is a predefined class present inside an AWT. What is paint? Paint is also a predefined class present inside this AWT. Okay, and then we are going to override it. You know the concept of overriding. Run function is also a already available function. We can override it, right? In the concept of threading, we will write the syntax as it is, like we'll say public void run, but the content you will change. Same way, toString. ToString we have when we learn classes and object, you might have remember about the toString function. This function is also already available, but we will override it and write our own content. Same way, paint is also some other function which is already available in AWT, but we can use it and we can write our own content. But the syntax should be like this: public void paint, and the argument should be graphics and the object of it. Now here I am just calling super.paint. Super means it's going to call the parent. Inside that J panel, it has a paint function. Just I am calling that. Okay, we have to do that. Then G is the graphic object. Through G only we can able to do all kinds of drawing. Okay, so first thing for this G object, graphic object, just we are setting the frame as we did in the previous class. Set font, new font of, what is the font, what is the type, bold, italic or anything, then the font size. Okay, then I say if you want to write some string on the screen, you have to say G.drawString. I have just said thank you Jesus, and I'm writing it in the position. You have to say the XY coordinate. X axis should be 50, I said, and Y axis I'm going to say as 20. So in the X axis means we know this is X axis and this is Y axis, right? So in a window, you consider like this. So in the x-axis 50 and the y-axis 20, we are going to print thank you, Jesus. Then I'm again setting some color for this graphic object as blue. And then I'm going to draw a line. Starting point is in x-axis and y-axis as 20. Ending point of the line is x-axis and y-axis as 120, 120. And again, I'm going to change the color of the graphic object. G is like a pen. So first I'm going to change the color of G as green and then draw oval. It is also a predefined function already available. It helps you to draw with these parameters, okay, x and y coordinate and the radius. Same way, rectangle, x, y and this where to start the width and height of a rectangle and the coordinates. Okay, then again I'm going to change the color as red and then another predefined. These are all predefined functions, okay. Fill rectangle, again I'm going to set the parameter. Fill oval, I'm going to set the parameters. Okay, so this is how I have defined the paint function. So these are the different functions available. Okay, so you can draw or so many other functions are there. As of now, you know, draw string help you to write something. Draw a line help you to draw a line. Draw oval, to draw a rectangle. So here fill rectangle means here only the rectangle line will be drawn. But if we say fill rectangle, the rectangle will be drawn and the inside portion will be filled with some color. And same with the fill oval. Okay. And now you come to this. As I said, main function, we have a J-frame and we are going to create an object for this draw. Actually, what is draw? It is a J panel. So I've just created an object for this draw and then I'm going to change the size of this frame. And to this frame, I'm going to add this panel. What is this panel? Object of this draw class. I have just named the object as panel. We know whenever I create a button, how will I add the button to the frame? We'll say f dot add b1, f dot add r1. Same way, f that the frame object dot add the panel. What is this panel? Which is the object of this draw class. What is this draw class? It is a J panel. So we know that J panel is also a container, but it cannot stand alone, but the container should be placed on the frame. So here we created an object for the frame. To that frame, we have added this panel. And finally, we are displaying this frame, f dot set visible as true. So to this frame, we are attaching a panel. Okay. So now let's run this program. You can see here, as I said, in the x and y coordinates, it is showing thank you, Jesus. We are drawing a line by saying x and y coordinate. We are drawing an oval shape by saying the radius and the position to which we want to draw this line. Okay, the x-axis, y-axis and the radius. And then rectangle also, the x-axis, y-axis and here the starting this line and the starting this line. And then fill rectangle. This is what the fill rectangle. Okay, this two things, this circle and this is this draw oval and draw rect. Fill rectangle is this. It is filling it with the red color we have specified. Here again, fill oval with the red color. Here it is, we said color is green. So that is why this circle and this rectangle is of green color, but we are not filling this too. But after that, we said the color is red and we are drawing a rectangle and oval with the fill function. So it's fill this rectangle and the oval with the red color. Okay, so this is how we can able to even draw something or we can do some graphical operations on the window itself. So that is also possible. Do you understand this? Did you get some idea? Yes. So I'll post all these things. If you have any more doubt, you can check on this video. We have next Friday also we got